Hello and welcome to Central Multiverse's Space Series. Now this video is here if you just have an interest, or you're studying, or you clicked on the video accidentally. Either way, feel free to stop, pause, rewind throughout the video to make sure you're all up to date. Now if anybody prefers reading to watching videos, please put below in the comment section and I'll send you the episode transcripts. As well as this, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future videos, please put them in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. So we begin by looking at the phases of the moon, and first of all let's look at the moon, the huge lump of rock most of us all see night in, night out, and respectively some days, which is probably formed when a Mars-sized planet grazed the young Earth's surface, and all this debris from the grazing came together to form the moon. And this is one of the many theories called the giant impact hypotheses that try to explain the origin of the moon. Now this theory isn't perfect, but it seems to have gathered the most momentum since our lunar landings. But ultimately, there's lots of different theories, but this is the one that most people tend to sort of accept. Okay? So if you're making notes, the exact definition of the moon is the natural satellite of Earth by reflected light from the sun. Now if you're thinking ahead, this is why we have phases. So phases are the shape of the sunlit side of the moon, which change over the month because of the moon's orbit around Earth. This constant change gives us the various phases throughout the moon's 29.5 day cycle. So that's more of a longer sort of version of what I've just said on the screen there. So now the first part of the phase is, as we can see, is something we can't actually see at all. It's called the new moon, and I've only put the moon there for representative purposes, and while we're at it, Orion's poorly attempted. Orion's there just for representative purposes. But we can't really see the new moon because it's at the start of the cycle. So next we have the waxing crescent. Now waxing means to get bigger or larger, and this is sometimes called the young moon, which happens very early in the cycle. So this, you will always start to see this, and it's very sort of, you can sort of see the smiley face there, sort of. Now next we have the first quarter. And before you start typing in the comments, I've made an error. I haven't. This is really called the first quarter. And you're probably thinking, well, it's half there, but it isn't. It means it's a quarter of the way through its cycle. Okay, next we have the waxing gibbous. And we're now, it's 3/4 illuminated. And if you're studying GCSE astronomy, I would personally say a waxing gibbous occurs 10 days into the cycle. I'm just saying this because I was reading a paper before and this question came up. So I would say a waxing gibbous occurs about 10 days into the cycle. So if you think about it, it's relatively early in the cycle. And now we have the full moon. We're halfway through the cycle. And this is where we see our full moon, the time where eclipses take place. Don't worry, I'll do a separate video on eclipses in the moon if you would like me to. Now we're sort of going backwards. Now everything goes into reverse. Now we're next after this, at the full moon, we see the waning gibbous. The waning means gradually getting decreasing in size, and it's not meaning the city in the south of China, because everyone's thinking that, aren't they? Okay, so the next we have the waning gibbous. You can tell that everything's going backwards the way it was to before. And opposite again, we have the last quarter, because we are 3/4 of the way through the moon cycle. And then, before the cycle starts all over again, we have the waning crescent, which goes over the eastern horizon. And after this, the whole cycle starts all over again. So if you want to recap our lesson, we have learned what the moon is, why we have phases, and what each of the phases are. So if you're struggling in anything, as I've said, contact me and through the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer your question. If you have any suggestions for what else to do in the space series, anything you're struggling on, drop me a comment and I'll do my best to try and do everything that you say and what I really want to do. A great space series, I'm going to look at planets. I want to try and do maybe a few videos on all the inner planets and then the outer planets, looking at the sun, looking at black holes, all these things that can be used for out of interest or used for studying for exams. So thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.